Hello friends, how is everybody doing today? I hope everybody's great. My name is Michaela. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be discussing the Tiger Woods HBO documentary simply because I can't get it out of my head. I poured myself a beverage. I have notes, many characters and pages of notes. So if you do make it to the end of this video, thank you. I appreciate you. I really do.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
A child prodigy manufactured for greatness, a media darling turned tabloid target, and a golf god who couldn't stop bleeding humanity. HBO's Tiger takes us through the rise, fall, and eerie reboot of an icon. He had no childhood, no privacy, no plan B, just a swing, a script, and the silent expectation to be perfect. Tiger isn't just a sports documentary. It's a cautionary tale in Nike cleats. Join me as we revisit the myth-making machine, the persona performance, and what it costs to never, ever say how you actually feel. Part 1, prodigy, perfection, pressure, aka golf prodigy by age 2, emotionally repressed by age 5, alt title, if the US military trained a child to play golf instead of, war. The cost of greatness is everything, even your ability to be a human being. Okay, not a direct quote, but emotionally accurate. In 2021, HBO released Tiger, a two-part documentary that charts the meteoric rise, devastating fall, and improbable comeback of golf legend Tiger Woods. Directed by Matthew Heineman and Matthew Hamachek, this series isn't just about golf. It's about the cost of greatness, the weight of expectation, and the humanity behind the icon. As far as two-part documentary series go, it's an incredible dive into the exploited and well-recorded life of an American icon. Tiger's story starts where most American dreams do, childhood and pressure. The documentary starts with Tiger's father, Earl Woods, delivering an impassioned speech at the 1996 Haskins Collegiate Awards banquet, declaring that his son will transcend this game and bring a humanitarianism never known before. There is an early implication that Tiger is conditionally worshipped by his parents, but is also responsible to uphold the highest moral standards at the complete sacrifice of his personality and true desires. And in my opinion, this is an almost perfect case study of narcissistic parents, a resulting narcissistic child, and it is fundamentally fascinating to see. The documentary, based on the 2018 book Tiger Woods by Jeff Benedict and Armin Katian, paints Tiger as a prodigy shaped by unrelenting pressure. From age 10 months, when Earl claims Tiger hit a golf ball after being unstrapped from his high chair, his path was set. But this isn't just a story of talent. It's a story about control. Tiger was swinging golf clubs before he could form full sentences. By age 3, he was on national television, and through his teenage years, he was slaying the U.S. Amateur Championships. I'm talking from 94 to 96, Tiger Woods won it. In the words of Gary Smith from Sports Illustrated, Tiger was a black phenomenon entering a white world. We see how Earl shaped Tiger into a mental fortress, using mind games like distracting Tiger during putts to build resilience. But the documentary then shows the cost of this training is evident. The filmmakers use archival footage and interviews to show a childhood stripped of normalcy, a theme that resonates throughout the series. All the while, Tiger is framed as an almost non-human deity to be worshipped as perfect, if he is able to convince others of his perfection and talent. Q. Inflated sense of self-importance and need for admiration. Narcissistic parents have an exaggerated belief in their own importance and achievements. They constantly seek admiration and praise from their children, viewing them as a source of validation. They may exaggerate their accomplishments or downplay the achievements of others to appear more superior. But alternatively, this very young man is walking into a mob of celebrity and fame, and a very important question is how he would survive that experience, and would he be able to thrive post it? Spoiler for anyone who was dead during his cheating scandal, not without experiencing deep public shame. We first hear from Pete McDaniel, a family friend, who says that Earl knew Tiger was going to be a legend and said often to let the legend grow. We see and hear that both parents are completely obsessed with their son and the talent he seems to naturally possess for the sport of golf. The father convinces himself Tiger is engineered to play golf, and his mother takes him to the golf course for most, if not all, of his youthful socialization, as opposed to going to the park, playing with other children. His parents then claim publicly that they would support him irregardless of what he chose to do with his life, but McDaniel advises that that is simply not true. I want to note that this is the seed for his very complicated relationship with both parents, but particularly his father. For example, Maureen Decker, Tiger's kindergarten teacher, notes that Tiger used to have a small stutter, and at that point he asked his teacher to ask on his behalf, because no one liked Earl, they considered him a pain in the ass, to play other sports aside from golf, and Earl shut that down immediately, noting that nothing was going to shift Tiger's focus on golf and his future professional career. Note here, lack of empathy. Narcissistic parents struggle to understand or share the feelings of others, including their children. They may dismiss or minimize their children's emotions, failing to recognize or validate their feelings. They may even blame their children for their own mistakes or negative behaviors. What I'm seeing here is a clear grooming of Tiger as a brand and a symbol, not as a boy. He was put on a path for success from a very young age, and his parents seem to treat anything that could result in that not occurring or hindering that as a direct threat to them. Earl Woods, the original evangelist of the gospel of Tiger Woods, comes across narratively as an almost cult leader figure. Obsessed, prophetic, borderline manipulative. We get evidence from Tiger's childhood friends and first girlfriend, Dina Parr, who opens up about how he was isolated. And when his dad cut people out of Tiger's life, Tiger just didn't stop him. Q. Exploitative behavior and manipulation. Narcissistic parents often manipulate their children to fulfill their own needs and desires. They may guilt trip their children, use gaslighting, or make them feel responsible for their parents' problems. They may use their children as tools to boost their self-esteem or achieve their own goals. So after winning the 1996 US Amateur Championships, Tiger turns pro and signs a sponsorship deal with Nike, where he is considered to be the Michael Jordan of golf. This wasn't just a sports story. This was a cultural event. Tiger Woods wasn't just dominating a white-dominated sport. He was dismantling the country club narrative in Nike cleats. He was cool. He was humble. He was terrifying on the green. But as we all know, perfect is just the first act in a three-part tragedy. From Nike's point of view, they were going to take the race element of Tiger Woods by the proverbial balls and market him towards all golfers. They used racial discourse to raise the profile of Tiger Woods, but also made him a role model and scapegoated him as a black player, and thus led to him being marketed as the great black hope for golf. By everyone around him, he seemed to be completely built for pressure in every sense of the word. Then we get to the Masters, built on a slave plantation, so the racial tensions are high, and the crowd waits with bated breath for his plays, and objectively, him and the person he's playing alongside are sucking. It's really giving this is the first dress rehearsal the assistant stage manager is having a stroke, whisper yelling lines from the wings, and everyone has forgotten every piece of blocking we have spent months hammering down. And then, against all odds, Tiger gets one good shot and immediately he turns the entire tournament around. Going into the final round, everyone knew Tiger was going to win, but there was a lot of racial discourse going into the final day, and he couldn't sleep. And it was his father that eased his fears the night before the tournament and who was able to give him the confidence to face the music of the last day. By age 21, he had won the Masters by 12 strokes. 12. That's not a win. That's a public execution. But after this happens, Tiger's father cries, "We made it." Q. Lack of boundaries. Narcissistic parents may disregard their children's boundaries or treat their children as extensions of themselves, expecting them to always meet their needs and desires. They may have difficulty setting or respecting boundaries in their relationships, making it difficult for their children to develop healthy boundaries in their own lives. After his Masters win, the entire world seemed to embrace Tiger Woods. White, black, Asian. Literally everybody wanted a piece of him. They were thrilled by and thrilled for him. White America was patting itself on the back. Anyone can use the tools that this country offers and they can make it. But what does the success and failure of Tiger Woods say about the reconceptualized racism? Hold on to this thought, we'll get back to it. If we think to how Tiger's career progresses, he ends up feeling compelled to publicly apologize for his infidelity, as if his sense of morality, not his ability to play golf, is what he is revered for. But I think that's the issue. America can worship a black man who defies all conventions that are stereotypically associated with being a black person or being ghetto, underprivileged, and poor, when he follows their rules, dots their I's, and crosses their T's, when he submits completely to their society and what they deem as right, which is fine, but I think it's decently unfair in this particular racial society for a 21-year-old man to be idolized as a Martin Luther King type figure, to be demonized because there's a parasocial relationship claim to that individual and how other people expect that person to behave. We see that Earl loves loved Tiger, but there was a grand plan for him. Dina Parr, Tiger's first girlfriend, says that he always knew that the fame was not normal, and he loved her ability to give him a normal life. He spent time at her house because his was always quiet, and he was always able to be himself. There wasn't pressure and judgment to live up to expectations. She talks about being in love with him, and she tells him that there is more to life than golf, and she wanted him to cherish the internal sweetness inside of him. At the 97 Masters, Tiger Woods, sponsored by Nike, was completely hectic. I'm talking Princess Diana in the 90s hectic. Tiger on Larry King describes himself as always wanting to be the best. In the words of his caddy, who ended up having to be a bodyguard at many times, he echoes this, that Tiger had a compulsive obsession with being better, swinging better, etc. And his response was always, I will improve, consistently. He describes himself as addicted to golf, always practicing, and then the gym took over. But the issue is that Tiger is never satisfied, and the drive and belief that he could be better, achieve an elusive type of perfection is constant and never waning. We then get to the US Open Championships in Pebble Beach, California, a notoriously hard tournament due to the courses selected. But that didn't bother Tiger Woods at all. He actually played the best golf of all time. Consider the fact, he was bench pressing 300 plus pounds, he was leading by 15 going down to the last hole. Now it's important to note, Earl was very strange as a father. He taught Tiger how to self-hypnotize in order to focus on his golfing. He played constant mind games with him and implemented regimental training. But his mother was the true competitor. She believed that it wasn't enough to beat or simply win against an opponent. You must put your foot on their throats and destroy them. She used to reiterate, no matter how big you are, I can beat you. I can spank you. It was very well known that she was the enforcer, and if Tiger dared to cross her, there would be consequences. Dina notes that Tiger wasn't prepared for life. He had no real life skills. That she spent a lot of time trying to convince him finding a balance between his personal life and his professional golfing life. Now, his parents were not happy with Dina's influence, especially due to the fact that he lied about coming home early from college and spent the evening at her house. His parents are infuriated. They're threatening to kick him out. Cute. Conditional love. Narcissistic parents may offer love and approval only when their child meets their expectations or provides them with validation. Note, jealousy and possessiveness. They may feel threatened by their children's success or independence, becoming possessive and controlling. Emotional dysregulation. They may have difficulty managing their own emotions, leading to unpredictable and volatile behavior. Tiger, along with his parents, author a letter to Dina ending their relationship in a very cold and calculated way, and she wonders why he would do that, but there was no recourse for her to find closure. In her mind, the old Tiger had died, and the new Tiger was here, and he was all about golf. At this point in his career, there was a hunger to see Tiger do things that he had never done before. There was no one at the time that took as much pleasure as Tiger did in smashing golf balls and obliterating his opponents. At this point, Tiger was violently famous and had reached the level of complete superstardom akin to Princess Diana, and the lack of a private life and ability to be a real person really began to weigh on Tiger and Earl's relationship. Though Earl understood the mental toughness to handle the game of golf, he was not equipped to show Tiger how to truly handle fame. July 2000, the British Open. Tiger's form was unmatched. Obviously, he won the British Open. Tiger's mentality was never that we could celebrate. In the words of his caddy, he won and moved on to the next tournament, and the desire to win again, akin to a snake eating its own head, was endless. He goes on to win the PGA Championship Tour, and everyone wants to know he will be the first person to win all major consecutive championships and hold all the trophies at one time. In the final round of the Masters, it was down to Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods, arguably the person Tiger wanted least to win the whole tournament. Tita, Woods' mother, often made fun of Phil's physical appearance, and she makes it personal, to the point where Tiger is going out of his way to try and humiliate this poor man. Because, like I mentioned before, it's not enough to beat someone. In Tita's view of competition, you must dominate and destroy them. So he hits a ball with a smaller driver, and his goes further than Phil's. This shot deflates Phil's ego, and Tiger wins. As Tiger got wealthier, him and Earl began to drift apart. Tiger has become a literal corporation, and his goal is to make money, and the steady, consistent rock was no longer Earl, which is a drifting point due to the fact that they had more of a friendship as opposed to a distinct father-son relationship. So Earl is not exerting his control over Tiger Woods as you would see somebody who has a gassed up child who is pushing them away. We're not seeing a child who thinks that they're better than mom and dad. This is a child who mom and dad told, you are better than everybody. You are going to supersede everybody. So Pete McDaniel mentions that they had many disagreements and it caused a rift to form between them, but he describes them as growing apart. Joe grown man and family friend says explicitly that they were not good role models for honoring your marriage. They were not in the habit of setting a good example for young Tiger. Earl used to give lessons to young attractive blonde girls, and he would take them into the Winnebago for cocktails. And both Joe and Earl were married, and Joe, in a self-reflecting moment, is completely embarrassed and apologizes for exposing such a young and impressionable child to this behavior. In the words of Dina, for a child to witness that would make a huge impact on their life. Tiger called her from a tournament and he was sobbing, very upset, and recounted his father's cheating escapades. And there's a sense that part of why Tiger is upset is the fact that his father didn't even attempt to hide the fact that he was unfaithful. But do remember, there is more of an element of friendship between these people as opposed to a father-son relationship, and their rift becoming exemplary of the death of a best friend as opposed to losing a person you consider a father. I believe Earl feels as though he lost his son, or what he conceptualized as Tiger's role of a son to be, but I don't get the overwhelming sense that Tiger ever really had a father. Moreover, there is very much a sense that Tiger's mother is loyal and good, and there is a built-up resentment for his father due to his actions and how he was treating his mother, cheating. There is a time where Tiger used his influence to stop the leaking of stories about Earl and his womanizing. Tiger sells a story, or Tiger covers up a story because a story is about to come out because Earl is getting sloppy, Earl is getting older, or getting careless. The documentary then pivots into his relationship with Elin Nordgren, where he pursued her and they became a unit where it was him and her together. We see Tiger has chosen a wife or a relationship as somebody who can definitely heighten his image because Elin made him bulletproof. She was perfect. She was a model, squeaky clean reputation. Her image promotes his brand, but there was a lot of speculation that she would affect his golf performance. So then we get to the 2005 Masters, where he decisively ends all criticism of his marriage and thanks both his mother and his wife. As well, he sends a tribute to his father, where he mentions that his father has always been there to give him a hug, and he breaks down the fact that for this achievement he wasn't there because he was ill. And then his father dies, the man who was at the forefront of everything, who literally created Tiger Woods. And this completely devastates Tiger. Tiger buries his father, and then he goes and he plays golf, and he describes a sense of overwhelming calm, like his father's actually there with him, watching him play. And his performance said that he was the same Tiger Woods that he's always been, and he solidifies himself as the best golfer of the year. And then he breaks down in the arms of his caddy. And that's where we end part one. Part 2. Scandal, Silence, Resurrection, Sex, Lies, and Sand Traps. Alt title, The Rise and Fall of the Red Polo Messiah, aka the tabloids were feral and so was Tiger's subconscious. So now we get a completely immediate vibe shift. Gone is the golden glow, and enter tabloid headlines, voicemail leaks, mistresses, and a DUI. We get our classically Previously on the Hills, and we are unceremoniously welcomed to Rachel Yucatal as we are launched into the second half of Tiger's life post-Earl, and it's fair to say that the train was off the rails. Without Earl, Tiger was left with an Earl Woods-sized hole in his life and would spend the next few years searching for something, and I don't even think Tiger Woods knew what he wanted to find. Fast forward, we're at the 2007 PGA Championship. He wins it, but he's tired of being Tiger Woods. He's struggled to feel like he could truly be himself because there were so many people watching him all of the time. And as any caged animal would, he is looking for an escape. And what tumbles into his lap? Vegas, offering the complete antithesis to the overwhelmingly suffocating life of being Tiger Woods, and allows him to be bold, underline, Tiger Woods. A star who is intrinsically desired akin to Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, where all of the money that he has worked so hard for can be used to buy a soft, warm hug. In this case, through nightclubs, bottle service, and a luxurious life full of secrets and other women. Tiger was mentioned as asking his newfound friends, what do I say to these women? Because in comparison to many of these playboys, he was a nerdy and not completely self-aware guy. And Michael Jordan simply answered, you tell them that you're Tiger Woods. Vegas allowed Tiger a double life where he was able to let loose and live in a fantasy land where nothing outside the doors were real. Notable and mentioned by many people is how Tiger wanted the white picket fence. He wanted the fantasy life of a nuclear family. And Tiger was very much concerned with himself, his image, his dreams, and in America there was a sense of waiting to see the top dog fall down, the crab in the barrel mentality, so that no one can escape the barrel. They must be pulled down to our level. In the words of Neil Bolton, former editor of the National Enquirer, I think the Tiger Woods story is a huge cautionary tale. Be careful about the image you create of yourself. Be careful to live lies. Be very, very careful, because it can all come tumbling down.
I think that your issue is But sometimes I feel
I'm
like...
going to tell you what your issue is.
So Neil gets the biggest scoop ever on Tiger Woods, who makes a careless mistake. There was a restaurant that he used to frequent with his wife and a hostess there, Mindy Lawton, and they had a furiously eruptive relationship, intercourse in cars, etc., etc. So the National Enquirer followed him to a church parking lot where they witnessed him having sex with Mindy Lawton in the back of a car, and they kept her tampon in vault storage to prove that Mindy was in fact there. Tiger's team went into damage control mode, but the photos were too blurry to run. In exchange for silence, Tiger would appear on the cover of Men's Fitness, owned by the National Enquirer, so nothing was ever printed about Mindy Lawton. And to the eyes of the public, Tiger Woods remained Tiger Woods. But underneath the perfect facade, Tiger became everything that he loathed the most about his father, a true philanderer. Considering the fact that they were father, son, brother, best friend, one must wonder if the reality for Tiger realizing himself as an adult required a type of metamorphosis from son to father.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
On Tiger's 31st birthday, he went through Navy SEAL training, practicing clearing rooms running Navy drills, and it morphed into another full-blown obsession. Now, Tiger was already injured from years of playing golf, knee, back injuries, but the Navy SEAL escapades pushed that over the edge, and his left knee eventually gave out. They then find out there's no ACL in his left knee, to which he says, "Fuck that, I'll deal with that later," and he ends up with 2 leg fractures because he is determined to be the best golfer of all time. We now get to the 2008 US Open, the beginning of the end of Tiger Woods. Steve Williams, Tiger's former caddy, offers insight into his relentless drive. He recalls Tiger's stubbornness during 2008 US Open, saying, "Steve, I'm winning this tournament despite having 2 stress fractures."
Take off my boot. Oh my God, my boot, not my foot.
The mental strength and physical strength that he brings to this match literally cannot be overstated, because his body's literally falling apart underneath him and he's contending. Then he brings the fire and he wins, but things aren't what they seem. At his core, Tiger has a view of the world like a young boy conquering. The problem when you conquer the world is that the world then turns around and wants its revenge. We then segue into Rachel Ugatal, Tiger's mistress at the center of the 2009 scandal, who gives her first in-depth interview. Her 7 to 8 hour conversation with the filmmakers is a standout. She describes Tiger as someone who could be himself around her. Rachel says she met Tiger as she was working as a manager at a nightclub and that they immediately enjoyed being with each other. He was like a fountain and he would just talk and talk and talk. He said that he was scared that he wouldn't live up to the Tiger that everybody thought that he was, and it occurred to her that he didn't feel truly seen, loved, or appreciated by his wife and his family. In this same vein, he would encourage her to compartmentalize her feelings for him, in a similar coping mechanism he seemed to use to live his double lives. Cut to the 2009 Arnold Palmer. Tiger post-knee surgery is a winning machine. But at the same time, his life of debauchery is becoming increasingly reckless. There are 5 to 6 figure weekends with the girls, a lot of role playing, and at a certain point, he is connected with a madam and had group sexual encounters with hand-picked women. But we are seeing develop here is an addiction to adrenaline and pure pleasure, and Tiger is literally going off of the deep end. Not to mention, the National Enquirer has been following him since Mindy Lawton, and they knew about his nightclub romps, and when they found out about Rachel, they were on high alert. Tiger begged Rachel to fly to the Australian Open in 2009, and brazenly she went directly to his hotel room, and the National Enquirer got photos of her going to and leaving his hotel room. They got caught, and they try to get the story killed, but the story ends up coming out. But to ease Elyn's concerns, she speaks with Rachel on the phone for 30 minutes, and Elyn, who is already inclined to think the tabloid media is lying because obviously they're lying to the tabloid media, believes Rachel. It's not until a couple days later that the scandal breaks, and Elyn calls Rachel from Tiger's phone and figures out that Tiger has been lying.
Call me when you want to be honest.
And just after this, Tiger gets into the violent car accident, and that proceeds to completely dominate the media. Tiger's hospitalized after taking Ambien and Valium to sleep and for injury and then driving. And his car crashes both front page news and also serves to fuel the media intrusion into his life. But if Elyn and the world thought that Rachel was it, they weren't ready for the floodgates that opened. Rachel wasn't the story. She was the opening of Pandora's box, because once one woman was discovered, the rest followed. In fact, there were more stories on the front page of Tiger during this sex scandal than there were written about during the 9/11 terrorist attacks. But what took Tiger down was the fact that he had fully in-depth relationships with these women, and he left them brokenhearted. It wasn't just about the sex. There was a true element of emotional manipulation, and a lot of them were scorned because they all thought that they were the one, but there were a lot of ones, and he made them all feel special. And in a sense, those women were truly disposable. She also reflected on the toll of the scandal, saying, "That was the end of my life as I knew it." She was called a whore, homewrecker, and a slut, as if Rachel was single-handedly responsible for the relationship. But I will remind everybody that she wasn't actually married. Tiger was. She ended up getting a last call from Tiger letting her know that his lawyers would be in touch with regards to a settlement and to get as much as she could. She interpreted this as his last way of being able to love her. Then Tiger comes out and apologizes for his actions publicly.
Many of you in this room are my friends. Many of you have cheered for me or you worked with me. Now, every one of you has good reason to be critical of me. I have let you down personally and professionally. My behavior has caused considerable worry to my business partners. I hurt my wife, my kids, my mother, and kids all around the world who admired me. I know I have bitterly disappointed all of you. I have made you question who I am and how I could have done things I did. I'm embarrassed that I have put you in this position. For all that I have done, I am so sorry.
Oh my God. I am never gonna financially recover from this.
Which retroactively was a very poignant but not necessarily the best choice. After this, Elin was hunted by the paparazzi throughout the scandal, and she did her best to try to protect her children and her family, but her life being exposed as a lie and her husband a cheater and a liar led to their relationship ending in divorce. This was truly torturous for Elin as described by many of her friends, and she moved out of their familial home, and amidst moving, Elin really broke down. After the divorce, Elin was branded as a gold digger and was known to tell friends, "No amount of money can put my family back together." Cut to the 2010 Masters tournament. Tiger Woods came back, and the chairman of the golf club, Billy Payne, issues a scathing speech critiquing and admonishing Tiger's personal life, and the undercurrent of racism in his speech can't be understated. It really wasn't a place for him to chastise a champion, especially a champion who was a person of color. He scolded him in a public whipping fashion because who is the chairman of a golf club to take the apology of an embarrassed and humbled man and run with it is completely beyond me. All of this came together to collide into Tiger's comeback, and like he has always done, he zoned out all the noise and he blasted through the Masters. We also see a shift where Tiger began cutting some people out of his life, similarly to how Dina recounted her experience being cut off his life by his parents. Leads one to wonder if this is some kind of grief cycle or repeating behaviors that are comfortable, or if this is just who Tiger is as a person. After the Masters, Tiger took time off to nurse injury and work out his personal issues. Steve, his caddy, was waiting for the call to caddy for Tiger again, obviously, and was offered a gig working for somebody else, and he asked Tiger, and Tiger said that he was okay with this. And then, after Steve accepted the job, he was then fired. I want to reiterate that these people did not just have a professional relationship. Tiger was the best man at Steve's wedding, and after the firing, which Tiger seemed to really take personally, he never spoke to Steve ever again. Basically, what was revealed was that Tiger was really able to sever very important relationships that seemed to no longer serve him and move on with a clean break. By 2013, we are back, and Tiger is winning like he's back in his prime, and Tiger is not really a person anymore. He's not the person that they booed and boycotted and scolded. He is reborn, and he shows that he is back. His Nike ad says, "Winning takes care of everything, Tiger Woods." But truly getting to 2015, Tiger was completely wrecking himself. Mentally, he was floundering and his confidence was at an all-time low. By 2016, he had not won a major since 2008, and he was at 14 to Jack Nicklaus' 18. The idea becomes, is Tiger Woods done playing golf? Then Tiger Woods gets busted for a DUI. He's high on Xanax, Ambien, painkillers, THC, and everyone thought that Tiger Woods was done. And at that point, he was truly a national punchline. But instead of giving up, which as you would remember from that other time is totally not in Tiger's nature, Tiger proves that he is a perfect golfing machine, bred and made to crush his opponents. He goes through a back fusion surgery and then slowly starts to put his life back together. He is swinging, practicing, showing off on his Instagram, working towards that unattainable dream. And then we see Tiger come back. He steps back into the game filled with joy. He starts enjoying the camaraderie with his competitors, connecting with fans in a way that he was never able to before. There's a true sense of gratitude for the second chance that he's been given to have a life and to get a second chance to play golf again. And by the end of this journey, there seems to be a gradual progression where Tiger is just happy to be back in the game. He is both the comeback king and the reigning champion of people's hearts. The need to win for him has been replaced with a want that won't come at the cost of his body or potentially constructive time with his children. So we're back at the 2019 Masters, and after an 11-year drought, and we're wondering what's going to happen. and the odds are not in his favor. But I don't think anybody remembers that Tiger has played these holes. He knows the game. He knows what the smart plays are, and obviously he has made the mistakes on this exact course way more times than he can count. Post back fusion surgery, he slays the 2019 Masters after an 11-year drought. And for Mr. Woods, this is nothing less than a Cinderella story. For a man who has been through insurmountable personal struggles that would have kept many weaker people down, that have claimed many others who have struggled with them. Tiger is a story of pressure, fame, and resilience. It's not the definitive portrait of Tiger Woods. It's lack of his voice and surface level approach leave gaps, but it's a gripping look at the cost of greatness. The interviewees, from Dina Parr to Rachel Yucatal, reveal a man shaped by expectation, yet capable of redemption. The fact of the matter is Tiger is just Tiger. He's no more and no less. He's just one person. The magic of him, the beauty and the worship of his talent and grace and perfection, the belief in the man behind the curtain like some Wizard of Oz, is just that he is just Tiger Woods. What I find fascinating about this documentary is that Tiger was never really free. He was shaped and sold before he had the chance to choose. I think we all need to remember that the American dream really is just a brand deal, and it has fine print. And redemption doesn't mean restoration, because Tiger came back, but not as the same man. This is not a sports doc. It's a psychological thriller wrapped in a golf club. It's a haunting masterpiece. You'll leave with admiration, heartbreak, and the unshakable thought, was it worth it?